What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at Karine Jean-Pierre, and she's getting grilled on Hunter Biden. She's getting grilled about, I guess, he sent some Chinese people some text messages. He had an indictment that just recently happened, and Joe Biden invited him to the White House for a dinner. That is crazy. He invited him to the White House for a dinner. His own son that was just indicted. But let's get right into it.
The president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking and the decision-making of why the president decided to invite his
I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get into
Let me
it.
ask you this. If Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors
Well,
2 days earlier?
a couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. You could look at past presidents. I'm sure you have. So that is not uncommon. As it relates to anything related to Hunter, I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
Can I follow up on that?
Okay. No, I just called in somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Kirby wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? I mean, not a reasonable question to ask whether the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest, in some sort of coercive conversation for business dealings by his son. Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us.
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this, has made it very clear. I just don't have anything to share outside of what my colleagues have shared, and so I would refer you to him and the DOJ. Just not going to comment from here.
Text message
What I can tell you is I know that my colleague has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Counsel. I just don't have anything else to share.
in the shakedown
I just answered the question. I just answered the question. Go
No,
ahead.
you didn't. Yes or no? Was the president involved in the shakedown attempt?
Stephen,
Yes or no?
Stephen, I just answered the question.
She has a very hard job trying to defend the Bidens right now. This is so ridiculous that they got this woman up here trying to defend them. They have this woman up here trying to defend him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not even going to call her any names. Let's keep it professional. She's very incompetent. Let me just say that. She's very incompetent at her job. She can definitely just throw a bit more words out than I don't know anything. Let me refer you to my colleague who was just on right before me. He didn't say anything, just like I'm not saying anything right now. Come on. Because I did see her colleague before this. Didn't say anything either. So basically, she's referring you to the colleague that didn't say anything either. For context, for the people watching. That's for context. Basically, right now, she doesn't know anything. And if she does know something, which I think she actually does now I think about it, I think she does know stuff actually. She knows stuff, but she doesn't want to say anything at all, especially about the Hunter Biden thing, because she knows that looks bad. She knows it looks bad. She's saying, oh, that's his son. Of course, presidents always invite their son to the White House a day or two after they just got indicted. Their son just got indicted? Really? That's regular? That's common? That's a common thing that happens up in the U.S., like up in the U.S. residencies and all of that stuff? Come on.
It's not up to you how I answer the question. I just answered the question by telling you my colleagues at the White House Counsel has dealt with this, and I would refer you to them. Go ahead.
Karine, can you just remind us what your colleague said from the White House Counsel so we have it from you at the podium?
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with all of you.
My question is about your statements from that podium.
You can't even repeat it? Oh, wow.
You stated that the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaffirmation?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has
and I will leave
changed?
it there. Anything else, I will refer you to the White House Counsel.
This is not a change.
I just answered the question. You just asked me, does my statement change? I just told you nothing has changed. That's answering the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The president was there 2 days
Go ahead,
prior.
Stephen. I'm calling on your colleague right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. To follow up on my colleague, is there anything that you can say with regard to this text message and what the president's son was alleging? Was the president there or not?
I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel.
Wow. I will refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel. She has nothing to say. She has nothing to say. That's crazy. That's insane right there. You can tell for a fact she was fed up. You can tell she was she was put into a corner. Let's just say that. She was put into a corner. She didn't know what to say because it's bad. There's nothing to say. Everything that's happening right now is bad. Trump called this way back in what 2020? Yeah, when election, like during the presidential debates, he's been calling this stuff out. He's been calling this stuff out, and people are now just catching up. I'm just saying this has been we've long knew this stuff, but now it's coming to the light, and now even the people that interviewed the press secretary is actually asking these questions. They're bombarding her with questions right now, which I think is amazing. Ask the hard questions. Ask the hard questions. But if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. My name is Jay Dottie. Peace.